Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our blooming bag. Word on the street is, and I've heard that, a lady can never have too many handbags. So we've got a brand new one here for you. Perfect for a little gift, probably some jewelry, a gift card, whatever it is that you can fit into, well, this little handbag here. So let's take a look at what we have here. It's broken down into two sections that are pretty much the same. Actually, they are exactly the same, I think. Minus the fact that this one here on this piece has a few, what are they, little score marks to help you with the placement of certain pieces. But we'll get into that here in a second. Other than that, I'm not really seeing any other differences. But while this is flat, we're actually going to go ahead and glue all of our panels in place. You can see here, these panels here, they're going to go right in the center of each of these sections. You can see that also we've got little score marks here, so this can kind of fold in like a lunch bag, sort of, I guess you could say. But you can use those little score marks to help you with the alignment to make sure that you have a nice even border all the way around. Same goes here. With this piece here, we've got some markers here and here to help you with the placement of that. And for this large piece, we've got two little markers in the corners here so that you can get the corners aligned properly. Okay, so let's get that going first. This is actually not that difficult to assemble. Should go pretty quick. And I'm just going to hop right into it here. I'm going to start applying my glue to one of the panels here. Go easy on the glue here. I don't need a lot. And again, your main goal here is to just make sure that you get it nice and centered with a nice even border all the way around. I probably said that a million times throughout the many videos that I've filmed for Dreaming Tree. Okay, and I'll get this one going like so. There we go. We got a little triangular piece that's going to go right here at the bottom, like so. Okay. All right, so those are in place. Now let's head over here. Again, this piece, you've got little markers here in the corners that will help you with your alignment. So let's do that, and we'll go easy with the glue here. I think this is this Carta? I'm not sure if this is Cartabella paper. Let me see. It is. I can just tell because of the texture of the paper. Definitely one of my favorites. And for some reason, I don't know if it's the inks that they choose or how the inks absorb into this type of paper with this sort of texture. There's definitely something very unique about Cartabella paper. And you can see here, I also hit all of these with a little bit of pink ink as well. All right, so let me take a look and see if there's any differences between these. No, I don't think there is. No, these are all the same. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you choose here. All right, let's go ahead and get the glue flowing on this. And we're gonna repeat the same process on the other side because it's literally the same on the other side. I don't know if you can hear the wind out there today. There's really nothing I can do about that in my studio, unfortunately. But it sounds like there's an apocalypse happening out there. So I'm sorry if the microphone's picking it up. Okay, we'll get that in place. I had a little bit of glue seep out here because I applied a little bit too much. Press that down into place. Looks good. Okay, now while we have this flat, I actually pre-glued this, but we're going to take one of these and find this piece, and that's going to get glued right on top of that, maintaining an even border all the way around as well. So I'm going to glue this one down. I've already done one. That's over here. I'll point to it in a second. It's right there. So you're going to do this twice. You're going to glue both of them down like so. Try to maintain an even border on the top and bottom, or the inside and outside, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Give it a little scooch if it needs a scooch. There we go. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, and yeah, you know what? We can actually glue this down now. That's fine. Let me take a look at this real quick. Yep. So this is actually going to get glued down right here, like so, right on top of where the existing handle is. And we are going to put glue on this entire piece. Now I did ink the inside of this, but that was a mistake. Don't really need to ink that. It's not even going to show up, honestly. Kind of wasted my time there. It's okay. It's not really a waste of time. I got better at inking because I did that. Okay, so match that up with the existing handle and press that down. So that gives it a nice additional added dimension. An additional added dimension, how about that? Sometimes I wonder if I make sense at all. Okay. And that looks good, nice and in place. So that half is done. We're gonna do the same thing to this half. Now, if you want, you can pause me and turn on a podcast or something and do this at your own pace, or you can just hang out with me and you can just get it done together before we move on to the next step. So just a friendly reminder here. Again, make sure you got that nice even border and press that down. Same thing with the rest of the pieces. Okay. And then there's a little strap mechanism that's going to go over the center. We're going to put that together momentarily. And that's going to go pretty easy as well. This is a very simple little handbag to put together. Okay, a little bit of glue on my triangular piece. And get that in place, nice and centered. Just like that. If it's slightly off, it's not the end of the world. No one's going to notice. But do your best. Always do your best. Okay, and now we've got this piece here again. We're going to use these two little markers on the bottom corners of the face of our little handbag. Get that glue going. And using the little markers there. There we go. Press that down into place. Hopefully my studio doesn't blow over today. Sure sounds like it might. And we'll get this one into place. And then we can start joining the two sections together. And I hope I didn't mess this up. I don't know what all that racket is out there, but that wind is going nuts. Okay. All right, again, two little markers here to help you with the alignment of this section. Pardon my head if it's in the way. Here, I'll be out of your way in a second. And that is way off. Okay, good job, Leo. I need to bring that down a little bit. I might have to re-glue that. That's okay. Mistakes happen. As you're applying this, you want to make sure that you watch the tips and that the tips are in the right spot, because even though we have those markers there, you can get it precisely aligned with the markers, but the tips might be going the wrong way. So just make sure that you're getting that spot on. And there we go, much better. Okay, yeah, the other one, I did really good on the other one. Kind of goofed this one up, but that's okay. Still looks great. I was able to salvage that. Okay, all right, so now, same thing here. We're gonna get the handle in place. Let's get our glue flowing. All the way around. And just match that up with the existing little handle. So yeah, not only does that add a nice, pattern to the handle, but it also thickens it up so it's 2 layers thick. Actually 3 technically, if you consider the little overlay that we have here, this beautiful floral overlay. So that will definitely make it a lot stronger. Okay, all right, so our 2 halves are done. Beautiful. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take and connect these two using this tab here. Okay, just like that. So let's get our glue going onto this tab. It really doesn't matter which side you start on, actually. You can just pick whichever side. And I'm going to take and, using my finger, spread that glue all the way out to the very edge of that tab and put that down flat on my surface. And of course, this is the bottom here. You want to make sure that you match it up with the bottom there as well, like that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like this. Line that up as accurately as you can. Press down. Give that a few seconds to set. And I'm going to take it and fold it over onto that seam. And press that down, give that a few moments. Okay, perfect. And there you go, that's what it should look like. And then we're going to take and join it all together with this tab now. And what I would suggest doing is maybe taking and creasing and folding at the score marks here just to kind of loosen those fibers up a little bit, so when we do go to close this, we don't get any resistance and it closes nicely. Okay, but let's go over to this tab, apply our glue just like we did before. Throw a little extra on there so you can take it and spread it nice and thin all the way out to the edge of your tab. Okay, and you should be able to technically take this and make it flat, completely flat, and bring this over and press it down. It should line up perfectly if you did a good job with the gluing. Okay, that looks cool already, actually. Press that down. I'm going to fold it over onto that seam, and you see how you can fold it either way. That means that we assembled it perfectly as this is a symmetrical piece. Okay, so that's looking great. Next, what we're going to do is put the bottom on. Okay, and here is the bottom. Now we have two pieces like this. You notice that one of them has a little L for liner. It's going to go inside. So we want the one that does not have the L. And we're going to glue that to the bottom. And we're actually going to start off by anchoring it to one of the tabs. So pick one of the longer tabs, and let's get our glue flowing onto that tab. And spread that glue out to the very edge. Make sure that you've got it covered completely. Okay, this is the piece that does not have the L on it. And I'm just going to flare this tab out a little bit and just glue it down like so. Make sure you get it nice and centered right up to the very edge of that tab, like so, and then you can actually take it and flip it over, press it down, and press down on it using your table for some additional leverage. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's take a look at that seam. Looks good except for right there. Give that a little extra love. You can always go back in and fix it if things don't pan out. If you have little gaps or anything, we can always fix that. But the glue's still wet, so if you press down in any little area where maybe it's not making the best contact, it should grab it. And if not, grab your little scrap piece of paper and paint a little bit of glue in there to close it up nicely. Okay, so we can move this out of the way now, and we're going to apply our glue to the remaining 3 tabs. I'm going to go kind of heavy here because I've got 3 tabs and I don't want this to dry out. And I can always thin it out with my fingers, which I'm going to do. This thing's a little goofy to hold on to. It's okay. And spread that glue out. Oof, that glue is already drying out. We'll see how this works. Hopefully it works well. There we go. All right, now we're going to bring this little lid down, and we're going to work on and focus on making sure that we get it lined up with this side first. The side opposite of the side where it's already hinged. Get that nice and flush. And the other 2 sides should just kind of fall into place. Okay. And I'm actually flip this onto my table and press down from the inside. And actually, if you have a dowel, you can take a dowel and just run it along the perimeter, pardon my head, to push that down as well. Okay, let's take a look. I've got a feeling I'm going to need to do a little bit of cleanup here. Yep. So I do have little areas here that have tiny, tiny little gaps that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, if you're okay with it, that's fine. I would definitely clean it up. And I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper, and with how tiny it is, I'm actually going to put it on the very edge of my scrap. Okay, so it's on this side here. And then I can take it and just pop it right in there. Just like that, okay? And then just press that into place and hold it for a few moments to get that to be nice and seamless. Just be patient with it. If you get a little bit of glue that shoots out, just rub it off before it dries, okay? And while I'm holding it, I'm actually gonna get some more glue going on my little scrap piece here and start putting it into any of these other areas where maybe I didn't get the glue out to the very edge. Or sometimes when you're gluing 3 different sides at a time, well, it's hard to apply pressure to every single little section. So you end up with a few little gaps, but again, not a big deal. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the very tip, on the very edge of my scrap here, and just hold it and press it down, give it a little extra love here, and that is looking nice and seamless here. And I've got one more little edge there, or a little seam there that I want to fix. I'm not happy with it. So I'm glad that this sort of stuff happens, because it doesn't always happen. And if you just found us and you're learning about paper crafting, especially 3D stuff like this, it's nice to see this tip. I know many of you, especially those of you that have been purchasing from us for a long time, you've seen me do this a number of times, so I apologize if it's getting redundant. But there's always a new person that's learning all this stuff, and I like to share these tips because I want you guys to be very proud of this work that you do. And when people see it, I want them to be very impressed with your work. So I try to share as many tips as I can. Okay, so I totally cleaned that up, and everything looks nice and seamless at the bottom. I think that looks great. So this is how it's going to fold, like this. Okay, and it's going to fold like that. So it's got a good amount of room in there for whatever gift you want to put in there. Now, speaking of the inside, we have this piece here. Remember the little liner? And I'm going to take and just apply some glue onto the tabs on the inside, just around in a perimeter, like that. You can see it's going all the way around, and then a little bit on the inside. Then we'll take this piece and just drop it right inside and press that down. And it's just going to reinforce it a little bit, hide those tabs, make it look nice inside. Okay, so that's the handbag. Now we have this little element here that we need to put together. And on one of these sides here, on this piece here, we do have a set of little markers, and that's to help us with the placement of this guy here. We have to assemble this, and we will in just a second, but it's going to go like this. And this should match up. Oh no, actually, you know what? That's the back. So it's the smaller side here. And that's so we know where to glue it down. Okay, and technically, as long as it's flush at the top, it'll just naturally kind of settle into that little area. Okay, so to assemble this guy here, this is the main part here. The next piece that we're going to glue on top is this gold piece. In my case, I'm using gold foil. You may be using something else, and that's fine. So let's get this glued down. And actually, you want to glue this while it's folded like this. You don't want to glue it flat and then try to, fold it later. It's just not gonna. It's gonna try to pull away from this other piece. So let's get the glue flowing here. This is actually, for me, this is gold foil. You may be using something else. I know that with gold foil, it does take a little bit more time to get everything glued down. And these little scallops here, these little doilies, might be, I'm doing okay here. They won't be too bad. Just make sure you, lucky for me, this is gold foil, so the back of it is not as, well, it's not textured. It's less permeable, so that glue is gonna really stay wet for a lot longer. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this on here and try to make sure that I get it centered. There we go. Give that a little bit of a nudge to the left before it dries, please. There we go. Okay, and then I would just take and press down each half like that. Okay, and then fold it over, make sure everything is nice and flush. Okay, so now that we have this piece done, we're going to pop this one on, like so. And this is where it's going to be a little bit challenging for me because I'm gluing cardstock to foil. It has a tendency to kind of slip around a lot. But that's going to go on just like that. Okay, so just like we did when we glued the foil to the to the pink piece. I want to do it while it's still folded so that it stays in place better. Let's get our glue going here. Just like that. And I'm just going to slide it right over. Might help to hold it like this. And this is actually going to go on perfectly right on top of this. There's not going to be any border, so this is actually kind of helpful. Okay, let's take a look on the back. Perfect. Okay, there we go. And keep it folded like that. This, I really can't press on this too much because, for one, it's embossed and it's slippery. Okay, so that worked out better than I had hoped. Okay, let's let that set. I'm gonna let this set for just a few moments. We can actually work on our little bow here in the meantime. So here's the bow. You'll notice that there's a little rectangle in the center, and then there's rectangles on the very tips. I'm gonna take a dowel, and I'm gonna place one of the loops between my finger and the dowel, bring it up 90 degrees, and then run the dowel through. Do the same thing on the other side. And that's gonna give it a nice little natural curve. Okay, wow, really windy out there. And then we're gonna take and apply glue to one of the rectangles here and just connect it to the rectangle in the center. Press and hold. Now you're gonna have a lot of resistance here because of this little dimensional loop, but keep holding it and let it set. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. A little bit of glue on this rectangle, bring it in, and press and hold. So there's your beautiful bow. Okay, and now, let me take a look at something here. Okay, now we also have this piece here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it and glue it right over the center of this. So just place it right in the center, like so, and then just take it and fold it like that, and then fold it over again. There's no score mark there, so it's just gonna naturally fold wherever you fold it. Throw a little bit of glue right on the surface of one of the ends and take the other end and pop it right over, like so. Okay, so that's what it should look like. And then we have a little, like some tails here. And we're just gonna take that and actually throw a little bit of glue on the back. This is where the two ends met for that little centerpiece. Throw a little bit of glue on there. And then take, and there's kind of a, if you look and you can pretend like there's a little rectangle on there, just match that up like so. So you've got the little tails sticking out like that. Okay, and this is going to get glued to, it's going to get glued to that guy here in just a moment. Okay, so this piece looks like it's nice and dry. In addition to what we have on here, we're also going to take and glue this piece on. It should be flush with the top and nice and centered. Okay, that's going to get glued on just like that. So let's do that real quick. Okay, and again, that is going to go right smack dead center here onto this piece. And again, sorry I didn't say anything there for a few moments. Again, I'm gluing cardstock to another piece of cardstock that has some embossing. So you really need to take a few extra moments, run your finger along the very edges to make sure that it's making as much contact as possible, because it's not making as much contact as it usually would if we didn't have the embossing. Okay, so it can make it a little more challenging for pieces to stay put, but I think that looks great. Okay, so now remember we talked about how one of these sides has a series of little markers. Okay, so that's going to be our back. What we're going to do is we're going to slip this through, and the only part that we're gluing is this back half. Okay, and we're going to glue that down, matching it up there. So we're going to apply glue to the inside of this piece from here on down. The rest of it should move and open freely, okay, because we need it to, so that we can actually open this thing up. So that being said, we'll start by putting our glue on the inside of the smaller half, the shorter half I should say, and get your glue on there. Don't put any glue on that little area where the two sets of score marks are. Again, find the side that has the little markers. Go ahead and close up the bag as you're doing this. Bring that down and match it up so it's nice and centered with the little markers there. And just hold that in place for a few moments and let it set. Make sure it's all the way down. Okay. And just keep holding. Don't let it go. Just like that. Okay, give that plenty of time to dry. Then we can take a look at the front. Okay, that looks nice and centered, perfect. I'm gonna give that a little extra squeeze. There we go. That is nice and in place, perfect. Okay, so now the way that we're actually keeping this thing closed is by use of some little Velcro dots. Okay, if you've never used these, I definitely recommend getting some, they're really cool. And what we'll do is take the backing off of one side, okay, and we're gonna apply this to roughly this little area right here. Then we can take the backing off the other half, if it'll come off. There we go. And so when we go to actually close it, it'll know exactly where it needs to go. Close it up, there we go, just like that. Press down right here, and you'll notice now, there it is. So the Velcro dot stays in place. We've got one here, and now we can close it nice and snug, okay? And we do need to finish this off with our little bow. Now you'll notice on this piece, we do have a series of markers, and those little markers are to help you with the placement of this guy, okay? So we're just gonna butt that up to the straight area there. I suppose you could use some foam squares if you want, but I'm just going to glue it flat. And it's going to go right on like that. And press and hold that down, get a few moments. And oh boy, that's it. Huh? That's it, yeah. So what we're going to do on top of the paper elements here, I'll make sure that's straight. There we go. We've got a perfect little spot right here for a gold pearl. I'm going to add 3 larger ones here and finish that off right there with a little gold pearl as well. And then you can see how cool that is, and that will open up. You can then take that and fold it up a little bit so you can gain access to the inside. But that's it. Oh, I didn't let that dry all the way. Whoops. Make sure I'm careful with that. That's it, guys. Very simple, cute little handbag. Ready to go. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment and head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. There's a little bell that you can click so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. Or for those of you that want to know when we're going live, that's a great way to stay on top of all that as well. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can just type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed making the handbag. Can't wait to see your version of it. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos. And also, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.